Hi, I'm Franny. I'm the founder of Breastmates. And with a name like Breastmates, you might be thinking I'm in the porn industry. No, sorry. I'm all about mothers and maternity. I came up with the name Breastmates when I was naming my first product to sell on Trade Me, the New Zealand version of eBay. I thought I would try and create a proper name so I could pretend to be like a brand. And that is a name that has become my business and I have grown into. What started off with one simple homemade product is now a thriving New Zealand website and community reaching maybe 1 million mums around the world. I manage a team of staff in a warehouse, create my own designs and have them manufactured in China. And all this without any business experience or finances. How did I do it? Well, it is both easier and harder than you may think. First, I need to take you back to 2004. I just had my darling baby boy. I'd wanted nothing more than to be a mum. It was really important to me that I stay at home with him. I'd been making a few decorations for his nursery, but to be honest, I was a bit bored and I had no money, so I started listing some things I made to sell on Trade Me. I'd just photograph them, and when a bid came in, I'd make another one. Seemed to be working out okay. I had a light bulb moment when my baby was 6 months old. I went to a shop to buy a breast pump, and the girl helping me, she had no idea. She'd never made milk before or pumped her boobs. She didn't know what she was talking about. But it gave me the idea that I could focus on breastfeeding products and become knowledgeable and helpful and do it online for mums. I was lucky to be in my target market as a new mum, and it was good timing with internet shopping starting. Hell no, I wasn't lucky. I was determined, and I saw that opportunity. I did everything myself. I had no business skills, no mentors, no money. All I could utilise was my time. I wanted to generate money, and I was trying to survive. I didn't have any experience in websites. So, as a bit of a hobby, I built my first site using basic code. It was ugly, but it worked. People were clicking and shopping. Initially, I worked around babies' nap times, though I often felt frustrated and got grumpy when my bubs would interrupt me. Everything was such a juggle. I never had a clear amount of time to focus on work or be the type of mum that I wanted to be. And I feel guilty about that now. So please, focus on one or the other. I learnt that the hard way. In my first year, I made $1,000 and couldn't believe my luck. I bought a Christmas tree and lights. When my second baby arrived, there was a lack of affordable maternity clothes. So I started increasing my range by stocking some brands I bought from various manufacturers. This helped teach me what sizes and colours were good sellers. My goal was to offer more products to increase the spend per customer. And getting suppliers on board was key because I realised I could make a profit margin without sitting at that sewing machine. And that allowed my business to grow quicker. I trust my gut instincts and stock products that I liked. Even today, if something feels uncomfortable, I know it's not right. Though I've made plenty of mistakes too. I call them my first decisions that can be improved on. Like that time I chose orange for a t-shirt style, and all these beautiful pregnant women looked like pumpkins. I'm sorry. As time went by, I started designing my own clothing range and developing products for mums, all with my signature on the label. I love that part of developing a concept from scratch, drawing, specifying, choosing fabrics, testing, photo shoots, just seeing it come to life and become part of my brand. And the best bit, that's when I get customer feedback and they love the designs. These days, the majority of my range is my own design, which allows me to control my supply chain. This naturally evolved as I was let down by suppliers. They would have a popular selling item which they'd discontinue, and I'd be left with nothing to sell. Or I wouldn't like something in their range and I didn't want to list it on my website. So of course I had to do it myself. In my first year of production, I just did a run of 2 tops I'd designed. It was probably only $1,000 worth, but it felt like a big risk. I was really worried about losing that money and what they'd send me, if anything. But through starting small, I learned how to trust and do the techie stuff like negotiate, specify, and negotiate quantity and quality while being in New Zealand. These days, I do a summer and winter collection with about 30 styles each season. I don't know if this is normal or a lot, but I need to have stock to sell and give customers choices, or they'll click elsewhere. How did I find a Chinese supplier? Well, it was a bit of an accident, really. I simply read some spam emails. I ignored the ones about Viagra, but I would get a lot like, "Dear Sir, we manufacture clothing, reproduce your design." So I would simply start a dialogue with them, find out about their factory and certifications. Honestly, I was just doing it to see if I could get a free sample, but I realised it wasn't too hard. And I'm really proud of getting myself to China. I mean, I'm just a small town girl from Cambridge. We only just got traffic lights in our town. I visit my factories once or twice a year and prefer to do a visit when I know they'll be doing my run. I check the factory and quality, of course, but it's more about the people and the conditions. I look for things like a catered lunchroom, basketball courts, staff presentation, and how proud they are for their job. I currently have 5 factories who produce completely different products for me, and I've done this to spread the risk. For example, if the clothing line fails, I'll still have backup with other products, which could each be a standalone brand. I'm all about backup plans. When I visit China, it's about relationships. I didn't know what you're meant to do when you take a business trip to China. So for me, I followed my heart and trust my instincts, ethics, and quality. I visit because I want them to know about me and my business and the family I support. I visit because I want them to know the products they make are important for helping mums, our customers, and the role they play in this. Making it personal and meeting their families and sharing meals together, as well as all the other checks. I used to read Made in China without thinking deeper about it, about the person who made it and the family they supported. So now it is more personal, people and their families and their livelihoods, just like me. Yes, the language is a barrier, but it's more related to food, not the business stuff. And this has led to some mysterious meals and not wanting to offend my hosts. Such as that time I was offered donkey dick. Which I really couldn't face eating. So I chose a mango fruit salad instead, though that turned out to be frog fallopian tubes. So maybe the dick would have been a better option. It's amazing to find my fabrics at the markets. It's complete disorder. unorganised chaos everywhere. Billions of tiny swatches of fabric hanging, and it's always about gut instinct and selecting what appeals instantly. You don't have time to do otherwise. And then somehow inside my head, I can visualise what I will design and the lady wearing it. And I'll draw and draw and draw, usually at the airport. Looking back, the growth of my company can be measured by the amount of space I needed to store stock. I've gone from an archive box, to a cupboard, to a room, to a garage, to now moving to a new warehouse and office block and having nothing at home. Gosh, I should have moved away from home sooner, but I was so nervous about having to pay rent. All the time I go through this cycle of freaking out about how much stock I have, and then it will sell quicker, and then I'll freak out that I don't have enough. You just can't win. But I didn't see this strategy as growth. To me, it has always been about survival and knowing that everything could disappear in an instant, even now. It's both liberating and scary to realise my decisions rely on me. My choices affect my income, my family, my staff, and my customers. And as a single mum, there's no backup. Over time, I've taken on staff and owe a huge credit to my small team for the past years. Though initially I found it hard to delegate, trust and teach and get everything out of this crazy brain. I should have taken on help long before I did, but I've been cautious about being responsible for somebody else's income, let alone my own. I remember in fifth form, I had chosen art and sewing as my school subjects and got called into the dean's office and persuaded to do science and maths. And that led to my original career. I was an engineer, but I wasn't hearing my inner self. I'd always been creative from a young age and would make arts and crafts and get a buzz from selling them. But it wasn't about the money. It was always that challenge of clinching the deal. And I didn't get that excitement as an engineer. So that's how I feel I have come full circle in selling my creativity. I've got there in the end. It's through my business I've been able to develop into my true self, and I gain my sense of worth through creativity. And I'm grateful I can control my own direction. But I didn't go to school to learn this stuff. I learned by doing it, by getting out of bed every day and repeating. That's why I'm standing here today. I want to give help to others that I never had when starting out. So I've got a few lessons to share. Starting out, I used auction sites to find my customer, and that's what taught me how to run a business. TradeMe taught good customer service because I never wanted to read negative feedback. There's so much to learn through using TradeMe, such as the effect of different wording, photos, pricing. Even the watch list feature tells you if someone is interested in your product. I would try and refer customers to purchase on my website to avoid those TradeMe fees. And that's how I started my first database, which now sits at about 300,000. Everything was DIY and homemade. I made pamphlets and put them on places where mums would go, where I was going with my baby. I was such a hard. I learnt through watching other businesses and seeing what I could improve to make life easier for mums. And by having a different sort of sales pitch, being kind and not pushy. Over time, I've become different to other retail stores. For me, it wasn't about selling products. It was caring for people and making a community. There's thousands of articles published and ongoing, and they become very searchable when people click on Google. The key is to write about an unusual topic so that you can rank highly for it, rather than competing against thousands of other websites. For example, I wouldn't write an article about maternity clothes. There's too much competition for me. But I might do a more random topic such as lotus birth, which I can rank in position number 1. And it's all about relationships and engaging with the community. Like with our Facebook page, we share posts about the realities of mum life and reach hundreds of thousands of women. I've also learned anyone is a customer. It doesn't matter how much they spend, it is always an opportunity to leave an impression. Perhaps they'll come back, or perhaps they'll tell a friend. You also can't predict who your customer will be. Sometimes men buy our soft maternity trousers as they're comfortable for their hernias. Or cross-dressers buy our larger size bras as we have bigger body band sizes. Just can't predict. And sometimes you might have to have a strange conversation and have to act very professional. Like yesterday, a dad came to pick up a product, and it meant I had to have a conversation about the size of his wife's nipples. Awkward, awkward, awkward. Give customers a memorable experience so they feel valued, because they are valued. They are keeping me in business and my staff employed. Make their shopping easy and have great products, and they'll become brand ambassadors naturally. The customer is key to everything I do. Have to remain humble and remember this, otherwise I'm just a clothes hoarder with a life supply of bras. So as you can hear from my story, creating my business wasn't easy, but it wasn't too hard either. Always a lot of common sense and the less risk approach. Working away at projects, focusing forward, and enjoying it. If you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. You don't need to be an expert, have a lot of money, or rely on anyone else. You just have to make a start. The easy bit is figuring out the next step. But the hard part is not giving up.